Alright gang, what is going on? Welcome back to another video. Please excuse the general mess behind me and in and around the frame. I'm actually getting married in 3 days, which is crazy to say, and it's actually very poignant for the video and the topic that I want to discuss today. So I've been growing, scaling, whatever you want to say, my video production business for almost 5 years now. In November, which is a month from now, we'll hit the half a decade mark, which is amazing. And in that time, I have tried countless tips and strategies and tactics and shiny objects to ultimately increase my focus, my productivity, and my output, right? Let me tell you that of all of the things that I've tried, all of the tactics and hacks and things that I've implemented, there is one thing above all of those that has contributed to me having the right amount of focus, energy, and attention to actually grow this business. And that thing is having a boring personal life. Now, let me explain, and let's just get sciencey for a second here, because everybody knows calories, right? As humans, we need to burn calories, or we do burn calories for energy. And ultimately, we only have so many calories that we can put towards the things that we want to do within our life, right? It's a finite resource that we're kind of burning from. And ultimately, you choose what you use your calories for, what you use that calorific potential towards within your life, right? Growing a business is complicated and it requires a lot of calories. It requires a lot of time, a lot of focus, a lot of attention. And you have to understand that anything, like anything in your life that is not simply working, is going to take away from the calorific potential that you could have put into growing your business, i.e., if you choose to do other things, it will take you longer, right? Now, that's pretty obvious. But what isn't so obvious, I think, is all of the little seemingly in isolation, right? Seemingly inconsequential distractions that are ultimately going to compound over time and take you so off course in terms of the timeline that you wanted to achieve certain things within your life, right? As humans, we like to kind of mentally separate the personal and professional side of our lives, right? I have my justifications for why we do this. I'm not going to go into them in this video, but ultimately, in my opinion, right, it's just your life. And you either do things or don't do things that contribute to you making money, right? That's kind of the personal and professional life. It either makes you money or it doesn't make you money. And that's kind of it, right? But the point is that you do things in your personal life, or the things that you do in your personal life have huge implications to what you can then achieve within your professional life, right? The thing that ultimately earns you money. And if that is your goal, like me, to make some money and do some incredible things and to build an incredible business, then anything that I do within my personal life that takes away from that is ultimately going to be a distraction and isn't going to contribute to the things that what I want to do and I want to achieve within my life, right? Let's say that you were an alcoholic, yeah? So you were wired in a way that meant that you couldn't kind of get on with day-to-day things without having alcohol in your system. Now, what's that going to do? Ultimately, it's going to take away from your focus and your attention and your energy because you are giving something else that kind of that power over you. It means that you're not going to be sleeping properly. If you are drunk, you are likely going to be eating terrible food, because who wants to eat a salad after a night out, right? So all of these things are having a compound effect, and that's kind of what I wanted to highlight, is that things may seem innocent in isolation, but you don't really, and I think we're quite bad as humans at looking at the compound effect and the knock-on effect of the decisions that we're making on a day-to-day basis within our personal life. The main point that I'm trying to make here is that we only have so much energy, focus, and attention that we can put to things. And if you have a complicated personal life outside of your 9 to 5, then it's obviously going to impact the things that you are able to do within your 9 to 5, right? It's going to suffer as a result. So with all of that context that we've just laid down, what I want to do now is basically just kind of talk through some things that I've implemented into my personal life that have really simplified things and have allowed me to put the maximum amount of focus, focus, energy, and input to get the output out of the business, right? So, the first one is that I'm in a committed long-term relationship, which means that part of my brain that would if I wasn't in a long-term relationship, would be kind of either chasing girls or going on Instagram or kind of seeking, romantic partners and stuff like that. That entire side of my brain is just completely switched off. I don't think about it at all. And that is like, for a man, I can only speak from my experience, right, as a man, but I think that's a massive plus, because it gives you back so much energy, right? If you don't think with the lower parts of your body, let's say, then you've got all of this attention, all of this energy that you can put towards something else. So that's the first thing. And the second thing, leading on from kind of this as a relationship point, is that my fiance works part time, which means that she takes care of basically our personal calendar. So she organizes things with our friends. She plans the trips that we go on. She takes care of our home and our family. She does all of the things that is required in order to keep a home kind of, running and ticking over. And she also then tells me if there's anything that I need to do within the home, be it like, mowing the grass or taking the bins out and that sort of stuff. Like, I don't have to think about anything really to do with my personal life. I have a lovely home and she takes care of everything. And it just means that I can basically crack on and focus on the thing that's going to bring income into our household, which ultimately we need both, right? But one person is stronger at one thing and one person is stronger than the other, and we are playing to those strengths in a relatively traditional kind of relationship style. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do that. Obviously, like, we're in 2025 now, and there's a lot of things that kind of are going against this more traditional relationship makeup. But ultimately, that's the way that I've chosen to, or that's the way that we've chosen to live our personal life, and kind of do the things that we do within our relationship, and it works for us, right? So it may work for you as well if you are a similar way inclined. The third thing that I do is I keep my social circle very small. I have a very small select group of long-term friendships, right? This means that I don't have extensive group chats with people that I don't really care to hear from. It means that each person is so carefully, it sounds wrong to say selected, right? Because my friends aren't selected, but they kind of are. And it means that each one of those people, they add massive amounts of value to my personal life in terms of the conversations that we have and the topics that we discuss, and the things that we're interested in, right? Like, it adds so much value because each person is playing a much bigger role within my social circle, which means that rather than having a big group of like 10 friends where you like kind of one thing from each of them, all of my friends, I love pretty much everything about them, right? And that's the whole point, is that each person is kind of aligned with me and what I want to do and my mission, and they share in those values, which means that we have kind of that commonality, and everybody understands that, look, if I don't text you back for like 24 hours or 2 days, right? It's not that I'm ignoring you because I don't like you. It's because I'm busy and you're busy, and we can respect and appreciate that from one another, right? Leading on to the next thing, which is zero drama, right? Zero drama ever. Now, obviously, like, this goes without saying, but if you have a small group of friends, you're not going to have perfect relationships, right? There are going to be obstacles and challenges that come up within the friendships and relationships that you have, regardless of the size of your circle. But it means that everybody within that circle, like I said, is aligned, doesn't want drama, and knows that drama and like this kind of fickle, like, back and forth and playing games and that sort of stuff, like, it's just not tolerated. No one that I associate myself with or have within my circle will tolerate that kind of stuff. And if there is a problem, ultimately we just sit down, we have a conversation, we have a coffee, and we deal with it, right? And we don't leave that conversation until it's dealt with, because both people know the amount of value that each one of them is bringing to the table, and we have to air our grievances, if there are any, and sort it out like mature adults, right? We don't have long, drawn-out grudges over weeks and weeks and weeks. We're not going around telling other people what this person has done to this person and picking sides and all of that sort of stuff. Like, it's such a time and energy suck to have that going on in your life. So if you do have dramatic people and people that are people can be addicted to this stuff, right? Like, they get addicted to the kind of the cortisol and adrenaline, the drama. Because their life is so boring, they need to kind of architect drama into their life in order for it to have some kind of emotional charge, right? And you just need to cut these people out. You just need to get rid of them, or tell them that it's not going to be tolerated, and give them fair warning right when they are doing it. Like, you just can't have these types of relationships and these types of people in your life, because, if you want to do great things. That's the point, right? And there's the point of all of this is that like you can have that, but you just need to know that by having that, you are taking time, energy, and attention away from the things that you really want to do, whatever that might mean for you, right? The fifth thing, no social media on my phone. I heard this thing once that like if it's free, then you're the product, right? So if it's free and it provides huge amounts of value, which social media does, then you are the product, and you have to be so aware of the distraction that this thing is, right? I have YouTube on my phone. I'm not going to lie about that. I enjoy sitting down after a long day and watching YouTube, but I don't have Instagram. I don't have LinkedIn. I don't have TikTok. I don't have whatever else is currently out there, Snapchat, whatever. Like I have YouTube, I have WhatsApp. That's it. WhatsApp, I just communicate with people. And then, like I said, YouTube, because we're in the video production space, I enjoy watching beautiful films that people have made. I enjoy watching vlogs that people have made, all of that sort of stuff, right? So that does add value to me. But the point being is that I'm not sat at my desk watching YouTube on like a day-to-day basis. I have the personal discipline to not be able to do that. But if you don't, then just get social media off of your phone, right? Social media is a work tool, right? It is a tool that I can use to progress my career and my professional life, right? And it should be used as such. There's no way that Meta or Google is going to use me as the product. I'm going to use their product to get what I want out of it, right? Social media is full of drama. Like the only way that all of these huge like corporations and all of these software developers that literally paid hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds and dollars every single year to keep you hooked on a tiny little screen, right? The way they do that is through emotional manipulation. Now this might sound quite scary, but it like it sounds more dramatic than what it is. But basically, like when you're scrolling reels and when you're going through people's stories, you are essentially like kind of stirring this melting pot of emotions within yourself, right? So it's like happy reel, and then an angry reel, and then a jealous reel, and then an excited reel, and then a depressing reel, right? Like, and it's just kind of playing and spiking your emotions, and that's all that it is, right? But when you begin to kind of live a bit more peacefully, and you have a bit more peace within your personal life, and you're doing the things that you want to in your professional life, like I just can't deal with it. It's so stimulating, right? Like it's so emotionally charging that it's almost like I just want it gone. It's like looking into like car headlights at night, right? Like it's so stimulating that it's just like, oh, just get this out. And that's why I don't have it on my phone. Unfortunately enough, I am that kind of person that has the discipline to not like re-download it or feel like I'm missing out. Like I have, I don't have any of that fear of missing out, right? And then finally here, point number 6 is basically if you don't have all of this stuff on your phone, you just begin to notice the little details, right? And you find joy and you find value in small details that you notice. I think that this came a bit more naturally to me as a person because of my background in photography and video. Like I'm always looking and noticing and listening and being aware and allowing kind of these small details to come into my realm of perception because of, I've just grown up with cameras. I've just grown up capturing and looking for detail. But if you haven't, then I would strongly recommend that you get all of this shit out of your phone and kind of out of your, get the drama out, get the people out, get the social media out, and just like go on a walk and feel the cool breeze on your skin when you might feel a little bit warm, or hear the rustle of the leaves as that breeze comes through, or learn to love a walk on a Saturday afternoon after you've finished, all of the stuff that you wanted to and you said that you were going to do that week. Like I can't tell you, like there is so much value in that stuff. And getting rid of all of this complication within your personal life will allow you to see ultimately what I think to be an incredibly beautiful, amazing, interesting world that we live in, and you can find a hell of a lot of value in as well. And just to kind of bring this video all the way full circle, this thing has been on my mind because I am getting married in 3 days. And Yasmin, my fiance, soon to be wife, has done an absolutely incredible job with basically organizing the entire thing, right? Like she's done pretty much like the whole that I've booked like the video team, and I've planned out that and kind of just been involved in different conversations and that sort of stuff. But it's been very challenging to say the least. Like work has gone absolutely berserk at the moment, and it's been very challenging to have a complicated personal and professional life at the same time. But I think that having these kind of, I don't want to call them systems, but almost these like heuristics within my personal life has allowed a complicated thing and a complicated logistical and emotional thing to come into my personal life, but it not be overwhelming, because all of this stuff is so simple and my personal life is so simple and quote unquote boring, but it's actually not boring, because I get to live exactly the life that I want to live, and feel like I'm making progress on a day-to-day basis towards the life that I desire within the future as well. So that is everything for the video. Keep it simple. Keep your personal life as straightforward as you possibly can. Feel free to check out the rest of the videos on the channel, and I'll catch you very soon. Goodbye.